Hey all, this is Andy from Tennis with Andy. So I'm actually waiting for the train, heading back home, but wanted to just talk a little bit about what I've been doing. So been testing a bunch of strings, been using some yonex strings, yonex Polytour Rev, using yonex Polytour Pro. Also went through the gamut of the Grapplesnake strings. So I've used Grapplesnake Tour M8, Grapplesnake Tour Sniper, and Grapplesnake Game Changer. So reviews are coming. Just trying my best to keep up the reviews. It gets a little bit hard because it takes time to do. But my quick thoughts, I generally like rounder strings. I feel like it gives you more control of the launch, and I could still generate topspin with my swing, so using kinetic chain. So really like Polytour Pro, very comfortable. It could be a bit overpowering sometimes. So I think it's one where you could string it up a bit tighter. I usually string it up at like 52, 53 pounds, and I'm good with either the 16L or the 17 gauge. I get it in yellow. So I really like Polytour Pro. Polytour Rev, it was a stiffer string, also round. Really didn't give me that crazy amount of spin, but it's good all around. Good all around. A bit, it's a bit lower power than Polytour Pro, so it wouldn't be one that I'd necessarily go to. So now onto Grapplesnake. So Grapplesnake, lots of, interesting company, small company, string manufacturer. I think they make, wow, it's really windy. Whoa, this wind is crazy. So they may make some other stuff as well. But Grapplesnake, let's start first. Grapplesnake Sniper. That's one of the best strings, I think, all around for anybody who's looking to get a little bit more spin with their polys, but not, it's shaped, but not like too shaped. And I think it provides you just enough bites to just get the ball in play. So I think that's the best one for a wide range of players. So then Grapplesnake, what's the other one? These names are always so confusing. Grapplesnake Game Changer. Like that string felt like it could cut me on, like when I was stringing it. Like it was super sharp. Definitely don't like it. And I don't like it for my game. I think it was just overkill in terms of sharpness. I mean, maybe people who are rely on heavy spin and really like to get that bite may like it, but yeah, I didn't like it. And I think it felt a lot thicker than the gauge. So I got the 17 gauge, but it felt like more like a 16 gauge. So that's that. And I'm cold. So lastly, the Grapplesnake M8, and that string is one where I felt like I did not give it a fair chance. I had it in my RF97A, and it feels like a bowling ball in terms of the balls that you hit. Like you definitely hit some very heavy balls with that string. But again, it requires you to have good stroke mechanics, and I don't have the best stroke mechanics. I think mine are okay. And also, I was also using a difficult racket in the RF97A. So what I'd actually recommend, what I want to do actually is to try this with my head Extreme Tour. I think that'll be easier to use, the Tour M8. And I think it's, if I had the strokes, that string would be awesome. So if I could get it to work. But one downside is, like, for a small company, their strings are quite expensive. I think it's like $14 or $15 maybe for the string, and you also have to pay for shipping, which is like $3.99. So for me, like, trying to test it out once and paying $19 is a bit it's a bit a lot. So I kind of wish it had an Amazon or a Tennis Warehouse or something. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So just to summarize, yonex Polytour Pro for the win. I love it. I have a reel of it. Polytour Rev, not so much. The Game Changer by Grapplesnake, don't like it at all. I think it's too sharp, and I don't need all that sharpness. The Tour Sniper is one that I would recommend for anybody who's trying to get into poly, needs a little bit more spin. It's it's stiff, but it's not overly stiff. So I really like that one. And then last but not least, the Tour M8. That's for folks who know what they're doing with a racket. So people who have really solid strokes, you can really generate a heavy ball, and that's one that I'd eventually want to give it another try. So yeah, this is Andy from Tennis with Andy. I'm staying cold, but trying to play smart and see results.
Hi guys, Cory here. Recently, Yazir over at Grapplesnake sent Andy and I a few strings to demo, and today we're going to be reviewing Tour Sniper. It is a low-powered polyester string, best suited for big hitters, and is most comparable to Luxlon Alu Power and Solinco Tour Bite, and the string that I normally use, Turn Big Hitter Silver. I strung this in my Yonex V-Core Pro 97D. It's a 320 gram racket with a 18x20 string pattern, and I strung it at 48 pounds. My overall impression is it is a great control-oriented string with good tension maintenance that can compete with some of those bigger names out there. In terms of spin, I give it a 7 out of 10. In terms of control, a 9 out of 10. And in terms of tension maintenance and durability, a 9.5 out of 10. The reason I gave it those scores is because in terms of spin, it's a 5-sided string. But the edges are relatively soft, and they aren't quite as sharp as some other strings out there. So it's not quite ripping fuzz off the ball. But what it lacks in spin, it makes up in control. The string, it feels like the ball really sinks in to the string bed, and I could really pinpoint different locations on the court with it. But where it really shines is its tension maintenance. Oftentimes, even with some of those big name strings, after a week and a half, 2 weeks of playing, maybe 6-8 hours, they tend to fall off a cliff. This string, uniquely, it's actually partially pre-stretched. And what I noticed with it was there was never a single point that I could pick out where the string kind of fell off a cliff. The tension maintenance, it kind of had a very gradual decline. And it was never so steep where, one day I felt the drop off 5 pounds and I was like, I need to restring it. I was able to actually use the string, for 2 to 4 weeks, which is, almost double the time that I usually would use a string before I cut it out. So I would recommend, anyone who wants a string that is going to last a long time, not have to be restrung often because it's going to maintain its tension, is kind of, a control-oriented player but wants to play with a little bit of spin. I think Tour Sniper is a great string for you. It's really plush, really silky. The ball really sinks into the string bed. You can hit with a lot of spin with it if you want, and I think it performs, just as well, if not better, than more pricier options out there. With that, stay tuned for some of our future reviews. Thank you.
Hey Andy, thanks for having me. I also had a chance to hit with this Grapplesnake string in the RF. My typical go-to string is either Luxon 4G or Tier 1 Black Knight. Some of the standout features in this particular string were the easy access to topspin, feel, and control. I really appreciated how on a neutral ball, when you're going for your shots, you get rewarded with that easy spin. And that in turn gave me the control that I needed. My game is based very much on topspin, and so that's how I tend to control my shots. What I didn't get used to in our hitting session, and again, this is probably me more than the string because we hit for maybe 45 minutes, an hour or so. But I had a tough time dialing in the shots when I was going big, whether it was on a running forehand or a running backhand, or I was really trying to go for a winner. I just found that I didn't get that bite that I'm used to getting with 4G or Tier 1 Black Knight to really have that ball dip and really catch the line. It would usually sail long, but as I mentioned in a neutral rally, I did prefer the Topspin that I got from this one specifically compared to the other two. The feel was excellent. It was very soft. Definitely reminded me of that, you know, soft Luxilon feel. Overall, I think it's a good string. It's a competitive market out there, and there's a lot of good options, but this one's definitely worth taking a look at.